I went out and bought the best potting soil I could find. I went out and spent all this money on compost, and my plants still don't look good. What's the deal? Well, one thing that we need to understand is compost is not fertilizer. Fertilizer is not compost. Compost does have a fertilizer part to it, but these plants nowadays, even your older heirlooms, a lot of these plants in our grow seasons and all that stuff, they grow way too fast for compost to always keep up with them, especially when you're setting up a brand new garden bed, and especially if you're doing raised garden beds off their native soil. So what does that mean? Well, let's take a look at a few of the numbers here. A very common compost that you can go out and buy, and it was the first ones I ever bought, was a steer manure cow type thing. It has an NPK, that is nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, an NPK rating of 0.6, 0.4, 0.5. Another one that's really common that you'll see out there is chicken. That's the one I've got here. Chicken is 1.1, 0.8, 0.5. Rabbit, which doesn't need to be composted, by the way, but rabbit is 2.4, 1.4, and 0.6. So that's absolutely fabulous. One of the other ones that's super popular out there, everybody talks about it, is black cow. 0.5, 0.5, 0.5. So the next category of what a lot of people are out there getting is what I would call incomplete fertilizers. And an incomplete fertilizer, like blood meal, has an NPK rating of 1200. So it's wonderful if you need a good shot of nitrogen, but that's all it is. It's just a shot of nitrogen. Nitrogen is very important. It's the most important element that your plants need, but they need other stuff too. Bone meal, which I do keep on hand. Bone meal, this one here is a 6120. This is an incomplete fertilizer. So if I'm having a potassium deficiency or something along those lines, and I try to use this is not going to fix it. Epsom salts, magnesium sulfite, that says it all right there. It's sulfur and magnesium sulfite. That's all it is. It is not a fertilizer. The next ones are what you can call complete fertilizers. And we'll start with a fish emulsion. Fish emulsions are 4-1-1. Okay, so a good fish emulsion is still better than almost all of your compost. Fish emulsion does have the advantage most of the time, as it is water soluble already and it's ready for the plants to take up right away. And that's why, even though it's relatively low in nitrogen and all these other stuff, the reason that it works as well as it does is because it's water soluble and it's ready for the plants to use right away. Learn a little bit more about that. Take a look at my video, What's Wrong with My New Organic Garden? Okay, a couple of other ones that are really common out there is Dr. Earth's 463, Earth Care 566, Greenview 10-10-10. What I'm using here is Perfect Organics blend, and this is a 422. This has been working really well for me. And just so we give it a mention anyway, Miracle Grow 24-8-16. So what are we using compost for if it's not fertilizer? Compost feeds the soil life. It feeds the bacteria. It provides all that organic stuff that needs to be in the soil in order for everything else to thrive. It's good for the worms, it's good for the healthy nematodes, it's good for all that stuff. It's easier to think about your soil. Your soil is your plant's digestive system, if you will. That's where everything gets broken down into a water-soluble form that the plants can actually take up. If I took a cheeseburger and I sat it in my hand, that cheeseburger is never going to do me any good because it hasn't gone into my digestive system, and not broken down so that it can be absorbed into my body. And that's exactly what's going on with your plants here. Is you put it into your plant's digestive system, the soil, it gets broken down into a water-soluble format by all the gut bacteria, soil life, and it gets broken down so that it can finally be absorbed into your body. Compost is not fertilizer. Fertilizer is not compost. If your plants are looking sickly and skinny and small and weak, just like a person or a dog or a cat, if it's looking sickly, small and weak, it could be disease, and that's certainly possible. Or it just might need a good meal. Like, share, subscribe.